What would you do if one day you found out that the child you've loved for 5 years isn't biologically yours? That haunting question became my harsh reality. I was a husband and a proud father until a casual visit to my sister-in-law's house shattered everything. In a single moment, my entire world crumbled, and I was thrown into a storm of betrayal, anger, and unimaginable grief I never thought I'd face. It all started with what seemed like an ordinary visit. That day, my son and I dropped by my sister-in-law's house to congratulate her on the birth of her first child. Nothing could have prepared me for what would unfold during that visit. Secrets buried for 6 years came rushing to the surface. As I was playing with my son, my sister-in-law called me aside. Her face was tense, eyes brimming with tears, and the first thing she said sent a chill down my spine. "There's something I have to tell you. I can't keep it in anymore." She confessed that 6 years ago, my wife, the woman I trusted most, got drunk at a party and spent the night with her best friend. According to her, my wife was devastated with guilt, begged for forgiveness, and swore it was a one-time mistake. But that one mistake turned out to be the root of the nightmare I was about to live. My head spun. I wanted to deny it, to convince myself it was impossible, but I couldn't. My son's eyes, his smile, his face, never quite looked like mine. Something in me snapped. I took him for a DNA test that same day. It felt like I was trapped in a twisted drama, except I was the main character, the one betrayed in the cruelest way. A week later, the results came back. The bold letters, "Not a match," hit like a truck. My world collapsed. No explanation could soften the blow of learning that the child I raised and loved wasn't biologically mine. From that moment on, I couldn't see him the same way. No matter how hard I tried, the truth stared me in the face. I don't hate the child, but I can't love him the same anymore. It's a suffocating, gut-wrenching feeling only someone who's been through it could understand. And scariest of all, this was just the beginning. I stayed silent for a week after receiving the DNA results. Every day felt like hell. I lived under the same roof with my wife and son, pretending everything was normal, while a storm raged inside me. I watched them closely. Every hug, every word, every glance. It all felt so fake, so far removed from the truth I now knew. On the seventh night, I broke. After our son fell asleep, I asked my wife to join me in the living room. The DNA envelope sat on the table between us. I didn't need to say much. The moment she looked into my eyes, she knew. Her face went pale. She trembled. And the first words out of her mouth weren't, "Are you okay?" They were, "Who told you?" That hit harder than I expected. One question echoed in my head. Was she afraid of losing me, or just afraid of being exposed? I didn't answer. I simply said, "That doesn't matter. What matters is, I know the truth." She broke down, crying, insisting it was a one-time mistake, that she'd spent the last 6 years making it right. Being a good wife, a good mother, but I couldn't hear it. If it was truly a mistake, why hide it for 6 years? Why wait until I found out? I looked her straight in the eye and said coldly, "I want a divorce." She collapsed, grabbing my hand, begging me to reconsider, for the child's sake. But the more she spoke, the angrier I got. And when she threatened to take full custody, I snapped. For the first time in my life, I yelled, "Take your bastard and leave." I knew those words were cruel, but I'd already been broken long before I said them. She froze, then rushed to pack, carrying the half-asleep child out of our house into the night. From that moment on, I knew trust was dead, and the family I thought I had was gone. The house became eerily quiet after they left. No more little footsteps echoing on the hardwood floors. No cheerful chatter on weekend mornings. Just a strange kind of silence. So deep I could hear the ticking of the clock slicing through the night. I thought I'd feel relieved, but I didn't. I felt empty. My mind wandered constantly, not because I wanted them back, but because I couldn't grasp how everything unraveled so fast. I used to believe my family was real, that the love I gave that child was real. But now even the happy memories felt twisted, like a dream crushed under the weight of betrayal. Strangely, she never called back. No more apologies, no begging, not even a message. Just silence. And that silence unsettled me. Was she planning something? Would she come back and fight for the dogs? Try to twist the story legally? I wasn't sure, but I was bracing myself for the worst. I talked to my parents. My dad was firm. A man shouldn't raise another man's blood. Cold but honest. My mom was quieter. She just asked, "Did you ever truly love that boy?" I didn't know how to answer. I also opened up to my younger brother, the one who told me to write this down. Surprisingly, writing this story helped. It's made me see the mess inside me more clearly. I don't love my wife anymore. That's certain. But the feelings for the boy, they don't cut clean like a wire. They linger, tangled and aching deep within. I've started therapy. My therapist said I made the right first step, walking away from what hurt me. But she warned me. The hardest part isn't discovering the truth. It's what comes after. When the dust settles, when you're alone. And the only thing left is the whisper in your head saying, "What if?" Therapy sessions became part of my new routine. In that room, I didn't have to act strong. I was allowed to fall apart, to feel anger, and to feel nothing at all. I told my therapist that while I no longer loved my wife, I still couldn't fully disconnect from the boy. And the question that haunted me for nights was, can I forgive a child who never did anything wrong? One day she asked, if the boy knocked on your door tomorrow, unaware of anything, just wanting to hug you and say dad like always, what would you do? I didn't answer. I didn't know. I thought that after learning the truth, my feelings would switch off like a light, but they didn't. I tried to see him as a stranger, but I still remembered the way he shouted, "Daddy," and jumped into my arms. Those memories didn't vanish. I remembered once when he had a high fever late at night. I carried him to the hospital thinking only one thing. I have to protect my son at all costs. Now I ask myself, was that love fake? Or does blood truly define its worth? I began journaling after each therapy session, not to forgive, but to understand myself. Through writing, I realized I don't resent the boy. I resent the betrayal, the one that forced me to choose between logic and emotion. And I'm afraid that one day he'll stand before me and ask, "Why didn't you stay, Dad?" I have no idea what I'd say. Time passed. I no longer woke up with a hole in my chest. I started cleaning the house, got a haircut, cared for my two aging dogs. Some days the memories still hit like a wave, but at least I know how to stay afloat. I haven't decided whether I'll see him again, but I know this. If that day comes, I won't show up carrying hatred. I'll come with a question. Is there still something left between us? Even if it's just the truth from the years we shared. It's been 3 months since that night everything fell apart. Life is slowly finding a new rhythm. Not the old one, but a new path where I'm learning to live for myself. No more tense dinners, no more fake smiles and forced embraces. Instead, there's quietness, sometimes terrifying, but also a space where I finally hear my own heart. I've reorganized the house. Items tied to the past are packed away or neatly boxed in storage. My two dogs are now my greatest comfort. They don't ask, they don't judge. They simply lie beside me each night, as if they understand what I'm going through. Therapy continues, but now I talk less about pain. I talk about what I want to do, the trips I dream of, the hobbies I once shelved, the dreams that gathered dust under the weight of duty. I haven't reached out to my ex-wife. She hasn't reached out either. It's as if we were two ships that passed in the night. No collision, no goodbyes, just separate courses. But when it comes to the boy, I still don't have an answer. I'm not sure I'm ready to see him again. I'm afraid that if I look into his eyes, the same ones that once looked up at me calling Daddy, I'll break. But I'm also afraid that one day I'll forget completely and miss my only chance to keep something truly real. Last week I saw a father and son playing catch at the park. The man didn't look anything like the boy, but he was beaming, and so was the kid. That moment hit me. Being a father might not come from blood, but from showing up with real love. I don't know what the future holds, but if one day that boy knocks on my door, I think I'll open it. Not to rebuild a broken family, not to fix the past, but just to say, I still remember you. Maybe not all losses are endings. Sometimes they're invitations to begin again, as a more honest version of yourself.